Hey folks, a little different this time again, but I just want to give my thoughts because I just watched the first episode of Trigun Stampede, and as a longtime Trigun fan, I'm a fan of the original series. I was feeling a certain type of way when I heard that they're actually doing a reboot of the original series. And first episode, it's very different. I will say that it's very different from the original series because first off, this first episode, just from the get go, like, oh, let's start with the positives before I start bitching about the show. So the CGI looks good. Like surprisingly, like every single shot of the show looks. It's nice to look at. Like they did that really well, and it surprised me because like I watched the Berserk CGI anime and that was like mid at best. But yeah, the Trigun Stampede animation is really good. Well done. Now, I guess that's the only really positive I can say. Um, One of the biggest criticisms that I have right now, just from watching the first episode, is just how much information they give us from the get go. Because if you watch, minor spoilers, of course, because I'm talking about the goddamn first episode. Um, but first episode, you know we got Meryl, who is now a news reporter instead of a insurance representative, which I feel like sets a very different tone for who Vash is. Because in the original series, um, Meryl and Millie are insurance representatives that are following Vash. And why are they following Vash? Because he is classified as a natural disaster and need to like verify claims like, oh, towns are getting destroyed because of this guy. Pay out or whatever, insurance companies hate paying out. So yeah, so they're just following around Vash to like document all the damage he's doing, which again like sets like him on like above just being a normal bounty hunter. Now, again, who knows? Because right now, Meryl, no, Meryl's a news reporter. We have not seen Millie yet, so who knows? Maybe like throughout the series running, he gets that clarification of being a natural disaster and has Meryl being the Millie. Goddamn, like it's so hard to keep them separate. Meryl and Millie. Millie being the insurance representative and she also following Vash around. Secondly, we found out about not like Vash's brother like right away. Like first episode, I think it's like, hey, I have a brother, and I hate he scares me. Like again, it's a lot of information we get like in the later half of the original series. Now I feel like that again. I'll hold my thoughts until I finish the actual reboot, but right now, like I'm kind of biased against it because the way the original series handled Vash's backstory was amazing. I've never seen anything else like it because like we see this like lovable goof who happens to be like the best gunslinger on this planet, and he's like going out of his way to like not hurt anybody, da da da. And then we find out he's like missing an arm, he's got metal plates over his body, scarred up, because that's the cost of what he does. Like he makes sure he doesn't kill anybody, despite people on a daily basis trying to go out of their way to kill him for the bounty. So I don't know. Again, I'm interested. The first episode has got me interested to actually keep going through it, but again, it's definitely different. They're going for a different story with the reboot than the original series, because I feel like the original series tried to give us an idea of who Vash is currently, and then give us like like what he went through to become what he is today. But again, in the series, like, hey, this is who he is, this is who he was. Like, look, the first scene we see in the first episode is of the spaceship crashing and Rem dying and Vash and Knives landing on the planet. Another thing that I don't like right now is I don't know, Vash looks good. I like I prefer the original design of Vash and Stampede, but I would say it's not as good as the original, like his new design, but it's still not terrible. I will say it. I'll give it that. It is not terrible. And like the first duel, the first gunfight we see with Vash against some like military captain, kind of illustrates. I don't know. I don't know if he's just more of a pacifist in this series because it seems like it's going to be like that because like in the original series or whatever, I feel like Vash wouldn't have any problem doing a duel, like just hey, like shoot someone in the leg or whatever. He would have just like raised them or just disarmed them. But in the original, he's like, hey, I'm not even gonna pull out my gun, like, which is kind of strange. But again, it still fits the character of Vash the Stampede. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, Vash would never do that. Like, I could see Vash doing that in the original series. And again, I feel like they're staying true to Vash's character, but I feel like they're just setting him in like a different type of environment. And another thing, again, there's like small nitpicks at this point, is they renamed the planet that Vash is on or whatever. I forget what it's called. I think it's like No Man's Land or something like that. Yeah. In the original series, it's called Gunsmoke, which I feel like makes it. I don't know. I feel like that's a more fitting name than No Man's Land because Gunsmoke kind of like gives you like, hey, this is a violent place and it's dreary. There's nothing but ash. Like it's gunfire ringing everywhere. And again, I feel like that rolls off the tongue better than No Man's Land. Like that's a weird planet. That's a weird way to name a planet, especially when it's like literally where humanity ended up. It's definitely a man's land. It just sucks to live there. And one thing that I did notice as well is they got a lot more like modern guns in Stampede now. Like I literally like in the original anime, it was more like, hey, like I would say less modernized. Like AK-47s was like kind of like the most advanced thing besides like all like the sci-fi more stuff. But even then, it was like more steampunkish type of sci-fi weapons. Now in the new one, they got like AR-15s with like 4x scopes, red dot sights, which again, I don't know. It's a personal preference, but I feel like the original weaponry that was shown in the original series fit more for the setting and just gave it a better atmosphere. Like you see people with lever action rifles, busted up AKs, revolvers everywhere. It's like it made it more like a western. You know, and that's kind of what I liked about the original series. And yeah, so again, I'm gonna keep watching it. I'm gonna keep giving my thoughts on each episode because I feel like my opinion's pretty valid. Like I watched the original series like at least 3 times on 3 separate occasions. So yeah, if you like this type of videos of me just rambling on about, I guess, anime at this point, again, don't worry, I want to do more goofy type stuff. Not just this analytical type of videos, but just let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you think that the reboot might be better than the original series? I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Or if you agree with me, again, I want to know what you guys think. But other than that, just keep it easy. Mode Father, out.